Hello and welcome to Aaron Lewis Central. Manchester United 0, Crystal Palace 0. I'm about to reevaluate a lot about the performance and a lot of the maybe harsh criticism I was kind of thinking immediately after the full-time result, and sort of maybe look more towards the positives of what I saw rather than dwell on all of the negatives. And there was a lot of negatives as much as there was positives in that game. I thought, some of the performances individually, some of the, sort of the team chemistry was sort of getting there a little bit as far as I saw from the first half performance. We look a lot more assured in the back line with De Ligt, with Martinez coming back and looking fitter than he's been in a long time. Dalot, constant in the Man United team. For me, one of my favourite players wearing that Man United shirt. Mazraoui, for me, looks like a Rolls Royce of a right back. Once he gets in the groove of things, I think, we've got a winner, absolute winner in there in Mazraoui. And then we move into the midfield. The midfield look a lot more assured because the back line's a lot more assured. So we're looking at, the reintroduction of Christian Eriksen into the first team fold. And he, for me, in the last two matches, I know Barnsley's not the biggest, sort of barometer of judging a player, in the best way, but he come in at Barnsley, did a really good job and sort of like played that deep line playmaker role. And then in the game, I thought he was the man of the match for me. Again, he just calms things down. He plays the simple passes, and Kobbie Mainoo yesterday, I didn't really, see much of him really. He's been a bit, kind of, even though he was rested against Barnsley, I still feel like, that whole, summer Euros thing, he's got to, sort of slowly get himself back into the groove of things. So reserving judgment on Kobbie because he's a young lad and I feel like he's being exposed to way too much football, both for Man United and England at the moment. If that's my honest opinion on Kobbie, a really, really exciting kind of potentially worldy of a midfielder, but I'm a bit wary of how much he's being exposed to too much too quickly. So, that's going away from the point of the game, but Kobbie was not that much into the game yesterday for me. You look at, Garnacho, and then you look at Diallo, absolute bad boy on the right-hand side. I feel like he's got such a future at the club. Garnacho, on another day, he finishes some of those chances, and we're not even talking about how bad or good the performance is. No judgment, it's just a win. But the problem for me is obviously in the final third. And obviously Xerxes, fantastic buy for us. Great player. I really, really saw the positives that he brings to the team in the performance yesterday. And you kind of go, wow, do you know what I mean? Like, we didn't have the ability to do the things that we're currently sort of doing in terms of movements, in terms of dragging defenders away and bringing people into play. We didn't have that structurally before. And I feel like that's a really, really key signing. He's got such a big build and a frame, and he's got such an elegant touch and sort of like, can sort of see things that a lot of players aren't really in the rhythm with. And then also we've got Rashford, and we're trying to bring him back into form. We've got, the issues that we've had with him previously, sort of not maybe giving enough effort to the cause. And obviously now we're trying to get the mindset back to scoring us, 30 goals a season again. So, we've got Højlund, who, a lot of money was spent on him, and the development is key for him, really, because, I've listened to a lot of people talk about, Højlund, and, there's a lot of fundamentals missing, from him, but obviously still promising as well, So, we talk about the team in the context of improvement, and the things that were positive about that is that I've never seen, since Erik ten Hag has really taken over the club as a manager, a sort of better performance, as in when the players are on the ball, it's comfortable, you're not nervous, you're not waiting or anticipating for a mistake to come, and it's not as erratic as it usually is. And I've used the word even when I do some podcasts with Dave, kind of just the word erratic. But I feel like the one issue I have with the team in general, and it's just a piece of the team, is Bruno Fernandes. And I feel like it's not unnecessary criticism. I feel like, when you're looking at the way that you want to play structurally going forward, is he, with the way that he likes to play football, he's almost like a free roaming player in the attack, in defence. He's everywhere. He's not where he's meant to be, and it just kind of makes everything disjointed. His decision making in terms of passing is frustrating. He's kind of, it's so hard to criticise him, because on the one hand he can come up and he can do some magical things, great passes, some cracking goals. It gives you that mentality of he's there and he's for the cause, but it causes a lot of problems. And as much as I love Bruno, I feel like, it's an issue. It's a big issue, and it's something that Erik ten Hag is going to need to think about in terms of, can Kobbie do better in that role? Could Eriksen potentially, obviously he's only got about 60, 70 minutes in him at the moment at his age, but can he do better as a catalyst to sort of just have a bit more of a less erratic midfield? There's a lot of questions in terms of how we kind of do things going forward, in terms of, I feel like the manager showed us an example a little bit at Crystal Palace of how, if we keep on building blocks, we could potentially sort of see this more often. And that's the positive spin I wanted to maybe put on the negative, is that I think it's maybe a good baby step into the transition of what we want to see at Man United. But also you can go to the extreme negative, like I did after the game at full time, and just go, what a joke, everything's not right, and completely kind of miss what the positives were. So yeah, I feel like there's a lot of food for thought in that performance, and I can't wait to see what we do in the next fixture in the Europa against SC20, and see if the performance develops again and we can sort of remain a bit more composed, a bit more constructive with the football, and using Eriksen's intelligence. I hope he starts again in the game, and maybe start substituting Bruno Fernandes a bit more, instead of taking off everybody else and leaving him on when he's having an absolute stinker. I just don't know whether the geezer's got a clause in his contract where he can't be taken off or something like that, because it's blatantly obvious sometimes what the issue is with the kind of synergy in the midfield. And a lot of people have said you can't have a player just doing whatever they want when you're trying to have a structured midfield. I don't think Erik ten Hag had that at Ajax, and he can't be trying to compensate for Bruno's ego in this team if we want to go forward. And I'm not happy with Bruno in that aspect. But again, you got to say what a fantastic footballer he is, but not in a structured team, not in the way that we want to go forward. Onana, made a cracking double save yesterday, and sometimes I'm like, is he the real deal, or is he someone we need to sort of get rid of as well? So there's lots of different ifs and buts and sort of maybes, but the fundamental thing I feel like Erik ten Hag has to do with Van Nistelrooy and the coaching staff is get some consistency into these lads, and to sort of give us some performances, give the Man United fans something to have a look at and go, I see what you're doing, I can see the tangible changes, and possibly he could survive the bullet. But you know, a lot of people go out there, you know, saying he's not good enough and he needs to go. I'm 50-50 at the moment still. I was very much anti, but I don't know. I'm going to give it this season and sort of see where we land. But this has been my analysis, or my, what do you call it? My retrospective on the Man United and Crystal Palace match. If you did like the conversation, then please like and subscribe to the video. And yeah, this has been Aaron on Aaron New Essential. Peace.